Hey y'all, welcome back to my live broadcast. Welcome to all of my replay viewers. I'm so excited to be back. So, if you haven't noticed, I know some of you have because you've been checking on me and sending me messages and seeing how things are going. So, just in case you don't know, my mother passed away a few weeks ago, and I was really busy with preparing for her funeral and making sure we laid her to rest and gave her an amazing funeral service. And it was absolutely beautiful. I could not have asked for more. And I'm really feeling great because some of you know this, and I know my clients are already aware of this, but my mother, she suffered for a very long time, and she fought with different sicknesses and different conditions with her body for a very long time. And we're just really proud of how she fought. We're proud of how she stood against sickness and how she handled herself in the face of death. And we're inspired by her courage. And I'm so thankful, you guys, that at this point she's not suffering anymore. She suffered for a long time. She was in a lot of pain. And I'm so thankful that she's not suffering anymore. And I'm feeling super inspired by her strength and how strong of a woman she was. And even when I think about the things that she taught me, and I've told my clients, shared some of the stories about my mom with my clients about how strong she was, and how even when she was in situations where she was fighting for her life and trying to get better, how courageous she was. And I believe that she left behind a legacy of strength. So I'm feeling good. She's in a better place. And I'm thankful for all the things that she taught me. And I'm super excited to be back. I've been working behind the scenes with my clients, but I hadn't been live in a while. So I'm back to going live and hanging out with you guys every Thursday. So, y'all, I'm just super excited to dive in. And today I just want to talk about stepping into your next level, because as entrepreneurs, there are levels to this, right? Like you've heard the saying before, there are levels to this. There are levels, layers, whatever you want to call them. There are so many different levels to entrepreneurship, but I want to talk about stepping into your next level and what that looks like for you. Because for all of us, it could be something different. Like me stepping into my next level may look different from how your next level, stepping into your next level, right? Yours may look a little bit different from mine. And so the thing is to understand that we're always on a journey, right? And I said this to my clients last night, like anything that isn't moving, anything that is not growing is dead, right? And you don't want to get into a place where you're in a place of stagnation. And even if you do get in a place like that, you don't want to stay there, right? We always want to go through, right? When people say, "Oh, I'm going through this, I'm going through that," I'm like, well, the good news is you're going through. You're not staying there. You're not staying settled in that place. Entrepreneurship is a grow is a journey of growth. It's a journey of development, and it is by no means an easy journey. And I always say that when I work with new clients, I always tell them, I always prepare them as best as I can that this is not going to be easy. Now, I do believe that some people get into entrepreneurship and they realize, okay, this is not for me. Okay, they realize, you know what? I don't even know what I was thinking. I'm going to get a job because entrepreneurship is just not my thing. It's not for me, right? And that's okay. If you get into business and you realize, okay, this is not my thing. This is not for me. I can't do this. I'm not designed to do this. And then you exit stage left, and then you go do something else, or you go do what you feel called to do. But if that's you, I'm not talking about I'm not talking to you if that's you. If you realize, okay, this is not my thing, right? That's okay, because we all get into things that are not for us, and that is totally okay. Hey lady, but if you are in entrepreneurship and you are finding that it's difficult, that's totally normal, right? So there are two different people, right? Thank you. That's two different people. If you get into entrepreneurship and you're like, this is not my thing, that's one kind of person. And then if you get into entrepreneurship and you realize that it's difficult, right? And you start having that Moses moment where you're like, wait a minute, you want me to do this? Am I called to do this, Lord? Because this seems like too much for me. That's a different kind of person. When you start your business and you realize, oh my gosh, this is so hard, but you know you're called to this, I'm talking to you. So there's a big difference to not being called to something and getting into something. Like I'm gonna give you let me give you an example. When I was in the Navy, I applied for a program where I could have gotten commissioned as an officer, but I would have been a nurse in the nursing space. Now I have nurses in my family, and I realized when I started applying for the program, I'm like, you know what? I don't even like blood. Like, why am I even trying to do this? And I don't even like blood. Listen, I'm like, this is not my thing, right? That was a path that I was going down that I realized, okay, wait, this is not for me. And then some of my friends were trying to convince me. They were like, well, Shanta, you're smart. You know, we have nurses who only work with technology, and you work with technology because I was in IT. So I worked with the computers and the routers and the internet and all that stuff. They were like, well, we have nurses who just do technologies. And I was like, no, I don't even want that title, because if I'm a nurse and I work with technology and somebody, hurts themselves or like passes out in front of me, they're gonna find out real quick that I'm a fake nurse, right? I would have felt like a fake nurse. So I'm like, this is not my thing. That's an example of like when you get into something and you realize, okay, this is not for me. This is just, I'm not about this life, right? But a lot of people get into entrepreneurship and they realize how hard it is, and they start to think they're not called to it, right, Natasha? They start, because it's so difficult, they start to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not called to this. Why are we like this, y'all? Like, you get into something, and because it's difficult, you start to question, like, okay, am I really called to this? Y'all, yes, we are called to do difficult things. We are called to do hard things. When you look in the scriptures, you'll see repeated patterns of God calling people to do amazing things, and the person feels unqualified to do the thing, right? We saw it with Moses, we saw it with Jeremiah, we saw it with so many people, we saw it with Gideon. So many people were called by God and felt inadequate. They felt like, you really want me to do this? This is too big, right? Well, something being too big is a great sign. It's stretching you out of your comfort zone, and then you understand, I can't do this on my own, right? So I'm not able to build the kind of business that I see in my vision on my own, right? I need to do it in the strength of God, and I need to walk by faith to be able to pull this thing off. Now, everything about business, it's tough. Business is tough. Entrepreneurship is tough, but the reward, you guys, is so 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 amazing. The reward, the payoff is amazing, you guys. Like, I was just telling my husband the other day, I'm like, you know what? People get mad at like business owners because of the, like, for example, like the tax write-offs that we have, the benefits that we have, right? Some people who don't own a business, they get salty about that. Like, why do they get this? And why do they get this? And why the tax breaks in favor of the business owners? And I'm like, listen, we deserve everything, right? We deserve every penny, we deserve every write-off. Business is tough, right? We deserve it all, y'all. I'm telling you. And but big outside of that, the reward of being an entrepreneur and taking the time to become successful at it is unlike anything I've ever seen. And I've done a lot of stuff in life, y'all. I've tried a lot, a lot of different things, but entrepreneurship by far has been the most rewarding journey ever. And there's something so special about being able to impact people's lives, but also being able to make money doing it. I haven't seen anything like this, where you can set your own schedule, you can touch lives, and still you can be sitting on your couch, sitting at your table, sitting at your desk. Your family could be in the next room, and you're still impacting lives, and you're in the next room over from your family. A lot of times when I'm on with my clients, my kids are upstairs watching Disney or eating snacks or whatever it is that they do for fun. My kids are in the next room most of the time when I'm on with my clients. To me, that is how I define success, right? So every all of us have a different definition of what success looks like for us, right? For me, success is being able to make money and still being able to be a mom, still being able to have a flexible schedule where I can be available for my children. if they need something. If if my son one day my son called and he's like, "Mommy, I forgot my iPad." So I'm like, "Oh man," I was getting ready to go and, and enjoy myself. But I stopped what I was doing and I went to go get his iPad and take it to the school. And the reason why I did that is because I'm like, they're the whole reason why I wanted to start a business anyway. Because I wanted to be available for them. I wanted to be able to be present for them. And so the reward of having a successful business is great, is tremendous. And if you're in the beginning stages, you're just like you're just dipping your toe in the water just to see what the possibilities are. But when you're stepping into your next level of entrepreneurship, your next level of growth, it starts with belief. It starts with belief. And I'm going to tell you that most of the time when you're struggling with getting into that next level is because you don't believe that you're capable of achieving it. You don't believe that you're worthy of achieving it, and you don't see yourself as that person. When I first started my business, there was an us and a them, right? Us, we're the ones who are just dreaming of starting a successful business, right? At that time, right? Us, us was I was in us. And I had friends who were, we were just starting out and we had these dreams of having successful businesses. And we had these dreams of working with clients and being able to hit six figures. And we had like all these dreams and goals, right? But then there was the them, right? The them, those were the ones who are making seven figures and they're living the dream. They're in it. They're living the thing, right? If you still have that mindset of an us and a them, that is a huge clue that you're struggling with belief. If there's a separation between who you see yourself as and who you see them as, you are struggling with believing that you're capable of achieving the same thing. If you're able to see it, you're able to achieve it. Okay? Listen, you don't need faith for what you can see. If you can see it already, you don't need faith for that. You need faith for what you can't see. You need belief for what has not manifested yet. You need faith for what has not come to fruition yet. And so what happens is because you can't see it, you're struggling to believe that you can achieve that. And so when you believe that you're going to be successful, you show up differently. People who don't believe that they can obtain the kind of success that they dream about, they don't show up the same way as somebody who's believing. If you show up and you got 2 followers and you show up every week and you serve your 2 followers until you get to 20 and then 200 and then 2,000 and then 20,000, that's a different kind of person. That's a person who's walking by faith and not by sight, right? A person who doesn't believe will say, "Oh, I only got 2 followers, so I'm just not going to do anything because only 2 people are going to see it," right? The person who's walking by faith is saying, "You know what? I only got 2 followers, but one day I'm going to have 20,000. I'm going to show up for the 2 like I would show up for the 20,000." Right? My next level is loading, right? When you walk by faith, you understand that your next level is loading. Okay? You may not see it at the moment, but when you're walking by faith, when you're walking with belief that you can attain the thing, you're going to show up differently. Hey, Chanel. Right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Next level is loading. And so when you're walking into the next level, you have to really listen. Those of us who are visionaries, we operate differently. Okay. You cannot do what you see everybody else doing, and you cannot operate the way that you see everybody else operating because the average person doesn't even believe in themselves. And you cannot get upset with people for not believing in you when they don't even believe in themselves. The only person who has to believe in your dream is you. That's it. If you believe and you keep hope alive, that's all you need. Okay. So let's talk about what stepping into the next level looks like. I will tell you from experience that there really is a press. And what I'm seeing is, I do believe in timing. I do believe in a Kairos moment. I believe all of those things. However, I also believe that God has given us the space and the means to activate certain things in our own lives. I believe that we have the power to do that. Here's an example of what I mean. If you're praying for a new job, you can't just pray for a new job and sit back and say, "Oh, I'm waiting on God." No, because you got to go do some applications. You got to go do some interviews. You have to network with some people. You have to dust off your resume and tweak your resume. Like there's some stuff that goes along with that. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm praying for a job," but you're not in action, right? Because what you believe shows up in how you behave, right? Your belief comes out in your behavior. Have you ever seen a person who is superstitious and you're walking with them and you split the pole and they'll go back all the way back around and walk around the pole? They believe that if they split the pole, they're going to get 7 years of bad luck, right? So that belief comes out in their behavior because they will walk back around the pole and keep from splitting the pole, right? So what you believe shows up in how you behave and how you act. When you believe that you're going to succeed at a thing, it shows up in how you act, how you behave, how you show up. Okay. There are so many times where I'm on a video and my number is zero. I always tell my clients, don't worry about what the numbers say because you are doing what you're called to do. I always say that at some point we're all gonna come face to face with God at some point, right? And I believe that on a day that we face God, it's going to be an I story. If you have to talk to God about your life, if you have to answer to God about your life, it's going to be an I story. That means if I'm talking to God about my life, I cannot say, well, the reason why I didn't do what I was supposed to do is because Natasha couldn't be there at the time that I was doing it, right? I can't bring Natasha into my story. It's an I story, right? What did I do? What did I do with the opportunities that I have? What did I do with the gifts that God gave me, right? What did I do to grow my business knowing that I'm called to this thing? Y'all, I believe that whatever we're called to, a part of that comes great responsibility, but also there's great stewardship that we have to really understand how to leverage and use the stuff that we've been given, right? The gifts that we've been given, the talents that we have, the resources that we have. How are we stewarding those things? And when I look back on all the things that I invested in, all the things that I paid for, I'm like I have to go and talk to the Lord about this myself. Like, Lord, forgive me for not really diving in and taking advantage of that opportunity. Show me how I can be a good steward with what I have. And I say this to my clients all the time, you guys. Some people are doing more with less than what we have. They're achieving more success, they're impacting more people, and they have less than what we have. And so what we've got to do is learn how to steward what we have and then be fruitful and multiply, right? And I'm not talking about see when most people see the scripture be fruitful and multiply, they think that just means have a lot. They think that means have a lot of babies, right? But we have the natural ability, you guys, to take something and make it bigger than what it is. We have the natural ability to be fruitful. We have the natural ability to take $5 and turn it into 50, right? But the thing is, we don't understand who we are and who we've been designed to be. And so when you take $5 and turn it into 50, listen, you take your gifts, you can take a gift and turn it into millions. If you've been praying for a financial breakthrough, I promise you the breakthrough is in you. It's in you. Because everything you need to be successful is already in you. When you look in the scriptures, there's a scripture in Genesis, and it talks about how when God created the fruit, he put the seed in the fruit, right? So the ability for that fruit to multiply is already in it. Everything that you need to be successful is already in you, okay? And if you have, and when I say that, I don't mean you have to do everything yourself. I mean, you have to strategize and figure out how to solve problems. That thing is already in you. Even if it's you coming up with the idea to reach out to a specific person to collaborate with, or reach out to a specific person to work with. Everything you need to be successful is already in you, okay? And so when it comes to stewardship, stewardship is all about taking what you already have and using it. Just like when we look at Moses, when he had that staff in his hand, right? He used what was already in his hand. We have that same ability to use what we already have. So when we're talking about stepping into the next level, number one is stewardship. What do you already have that you can use to get to your next level? What do you already have that you can use? So one of the things that I focus on is the reason why I do what I do is because I believe that the knowledge that we have, the experience that we have, the gifts that we have, you can package all of that up and make money. Because of that, you are a specialist in whatever you're a specialist in. I promise you, there is something that you are a specialist in. You might not sing like the next person, maybe you don't speak or teach like the next person, but there's something that you are a specialist in, okay? And what I do is I teach you how to make money with that thing, okay? I teach you how to package it up in a way that's going to be attractive to your ideal clients so that you can make money and so that you can live a more purposeful life. Because if you're called to this thing, this is purpose. You are called to this mountain. And when you're called, you show up differently. And when you're called, you can't just quit. I had a client who she was ready to quit. And I was like, you can't quit. I'm like, I said, if you quit this business, you're gonna be starting another business next week. Because you're called to entrepreneurship. And so she's like, you're right. Y'all, 2 weeks later, she closed a $30,000 sale. Okay. 2 weeks later, it started out as 27 and she ended up commanding more. $30,000 sale 2 weeks after she was ready to quit. Okay. So when you're called to this thing, you can't just quit, even when you want to, even when you want to just throw it away. We all have those moments where we just want to throw the whole business away. I had one of those moments with one of my other businesses. I wanted to throw the business away because I'm like, this is taking too much of my time and my energy. I want to throw this business away. Fast forward to a month later, I now have people on my team for my other business who are actually helping a ton. And it's amazing because I have people who are taking charge of their own economy and they're able to make money. And I'm able to use my gift, which is teaching, to show them how to work the business so they're able to make money, right? I wrote my first check out to one of my team members last week. I'm getting ready to write another check tomorrow. Okay. I have another team member that's getting ready to start up. Listen, I like to write checks, right? I like to write checks because it means that somebody is doing something and they're being a good steward of the opportunity that was presented to them. And in turn, they're helping me out. So we're helping each other, right? We're helping each other out. But when it comes to stepping into your next level, here's the thing, y'all. It really breaks my heart to see so many people wanting to be successful in entrepreneurship, but they also they don't do the stuff that they need to do to get to the next level, right? It's like they're saying it, but their actions are not lining up with it. And I know what it's like because I've been there and I've done that, where it's like, I really want this, but yet I'm not doing the things that I need to do to make it happen. And I'm telling you, if you don't take anything else out of hanging out with me today, take this. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is you taking action. That's it. That's it. When you have the us and them mentality where you see other people, successful people as them, and you're on the us side and you're looking at them wanting to be on that side, the only thing that they did differently than you is took action, y'all. When I reach out to people, when I make pitches to get myself booked, and I teach my clients how to do this as well. When I make pitches to get myself booked, you guys, I would say maybe 7 out of the 10 pitches that I make, I get a yes. And the reason why is because I'm pitching, right? If I didn't make the pitch, then I don't get anything, right? You don't get anything for zero effort, right? Zero effort yields zero return. A lot of times, you guys, it's not that the next person they're smarter than you or they're more talented than you. They just took the step. If you see somebody getting booked on a major podcast, I guarantee you it's because of some type of action that they took that you didn't. Okay. And if you want to, one of my clients, and I meant to share this. One of my clients, she sent me an article, and she's like, Shanta, can you help me with this article? I need to present this article so that I can get my article accepted, and I need to figure out like how to tell my story, in a good way so that they'll pick up my story and then I can get published, right? So she sent me the article. I tweaked the article for her, and then I sent it back to her. The article got accepted, y'all. So pretty soon she's going to have an article that she's going to be published in with Mahogany Magazine. She took action, right? So if you see someone and they're like, "Oh my goodness, this person is doing that, this person is doing that," that's because they took action, y'all. It's not that they're smarter. It's not that they're better. They just took action, right? That's it. I promise you. What's setting you apart from where you want to be is action. Your actions have got to line up with what you say you want. They have to be in alignment, right? You hear people say, "Oh, your intentions got to line up." Yeah, your intentions got to line up, but most importantly, your actions have to line up, right? Because an intention is just internal, right? Your intention has to be acted upon. Okay. If you intend to close 10 clients within the next 2 months, which is very possible, by the way, if you take the right actions, very possible, then what you do has to line up with what you're saying. Okay. Helen says, I need to take, and that could be very true. And that's why we're talking about this today, Helen, because when you're working to get to your next level, the truth is many times it's a press. You have to push through to your next level. And like I said earlier, I do believe in God's timing. I do believe that there are certain things that happen in God's timing. However, I believe that we can create moments by the actions that we take. And the example that I use is if you say, "Oh, I want a new job," but you never do an application, you never go on an interview, it's very rare that new job is just going to fall into your lap, right? You have to do something to go along with it. So if you say, "Okay, I want to make 6 figures by the end of the year," which you absolutely can, right? You absolutely can. And if you say that, then there's some stuff that you have to do to make that happen. But what a lot of people do, they'll do a little bit and they'll say, "Oh, it's not my time. It's just not my time." And it's like, no, that's not it. You got to do the work. I had someone tell me that. I had somebody tell me that, God just told me that I'm not even going to have to market, that he's going to bring the people to me. And I'm just like, that is not how business works. You have to market. You got to do the work. All of us have to do the work, right? All of us have to do the work. Okay. You gotta, if you want more clients, you gotta do the work that it takes to get more clients. And this is why I teach the way that I teach inside of my program. My clients know exactly how to get clients. If they feel like, "Okay, you know what, I need to go get 3 clients," they know exactly what to do. I teach you on what to say in the direct messages. I teach you on how to do a launch. I teach on how to create offers. They have everything that they need to make 6 and then 7 figures. Okay. But I teach them all of the things. They have everything that they need to where if they wanted to build a really powerful brand, they absolutely can because they've got every single tool that they need. They know how to get booked. I've taught them on how to get themselves booked on other people's platforms, how to get booked on podcasts, how to pitch if you want a speaking engagement, how to close a sale in the direct messages, how to they know how to find out who to get on the phone with. They know how to pre-qualify people before they get on the phone with them so they don't get burned out, right? If you're on a phone and you're talking to 30 people a week, and then you get on the phone with them, you find out, oh, this is not my ideal client. You should know that before you get on the phone, right? You should know if someone is your ideal client or not before you get on the phone with them. Okay. And if you don't know if they're your ideal client or not yet, and you're getting on the phone with them, it should just be to get to know them, because you're getting on that call to find out if they're your ideal client or not, right? But I don't want my clients burned out talking to, 50 people a week and none of them are their ideal clients. That's a waste of their time when they could be doing something better with their time. So that's why I teach my clients how to pre-qualify, right? So I teach them the actions that they need to take to get where they're trying to go, right? So imagine having that in your hand where you're like, listen, I want to make six figures by the end of the year. Listen, I got everything inside of my program to help you make your next six figures and carry it into seven figures. Okay. And if you wanted to do it without spending ads, I can show you how to do that too. Okay. So your actions. So just like we talked about with the person who's like they want a new job, but they're not doing any applications or any interviews. If you're saying you want new clients, you got to do the things that bring in new clients. Okay. And a lot of times we're doing the wrong things. And it's like what Helen was like. I love that what Helen said about I need to take more action. What I'm doing now is not enough. Y'all, when we're talking about levels, y'all, we talking about moving into your next level. The truth is what got you here won't get you there. And so many times it's exactly like what Helen said. It requires something different, a different level of action. And many times it requires you to take messy and imperfect action, y'all. I've had more success with taking action that's not perfect than I have with waiting for things to be perfect. I have launched programs that I did not fully have all the way together, but because y'all know me, you know that if I'm offering something, I'm going to give you more. If you pay $1,000 for something that I'm offering, you're probably going to get $5,000 to $10,000 worth of value, right? So y'all know me, so you trust me enough to know, okay, whatever she's offering is, I know I'm gonna get more than what I'm paying for, right? And many times, you guys, you think you got to have this thing perfect, and you don't. You don't. If you can tell people what they're going to get, that's all you really need. Now, the thing is, it takes some real effort and it takes some real work. But when you're called, you just have to accept that, right? You have to accept, okay, if I want to make my first six figures or my next six figures, right? I'm starting to pivot in some of the people that I'm working with. They've already made six figures in their career, and now they want to make six figures online because they want to expand, or they want to pivot to start serving people online. And they're already professionals. They already know what they're doing. They have degrees. They have certifications. And now they're like, okay, I'm seeing people in my office, but now like I want to build an online business, and I don't know anything about this online business stuff, right? And so listen, if you are doing the things that you have to do, you will get a payoff, y'all. That's what building by faith looks like. It looks like, okay, you know what? I know I'm right here right now, but I'm working to get over there. And you show up every single day understanding, okay, I'm here right now, but I'm that's where I'm going. When I y'all, when I was in school, when I was in grade school, I remember being in the third grade, sitting in class, like, okay, I got fourth grade, fifth grade. I'm trying to figure out how long it's gonna take me to graduate. Because I'm like, I don't really like being here. So when I went to school, believe it or not, you guys, I'm an introvert. But when I went to school, by the time I was in high school, like school was more like a social thing, right? I want to see my friends. And I was an honor student. I was an honor student, and I skated my way all the way through high school and through three of my college degrees. The only degree that I really had to work hard for was my Master of Divinity. That I was a little salty because I'm like, I actually, y'all really want me to work? Like, I really have to work for this one. I'm like, this is the first degree that I have to work for, right? In the third grade, I remember saying, okay, I got fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade. Like, I'm counting down in the third grade, right? Third grade to 12th grade, that's a long way. But I was in the third grade, but my goal was I need to get to the 12th grade so I can be done with school. And guess what I did, y'all? I finished school and then went and still stayed in school, right? As a matter of fact, I was just talking to my husband this morning about going back to school. so, how ironic is that? But in the third grade, you guys, I had a vision for like I'm right here, right now. I'm a little third grader, right? But I'm seeing where I'm going. So I'm like, I'm showing up every day because I eventually I'm gonna get to the 12th grade and I'm gonna be done with school. That's how you got to approach your business. You got to understand, okay, this is where I am, but that is where I'm going. And what happens is you get frustrated in the process because it's hard, and it is hard. But at least when you connect with other entrepreneurs, we understand. We understand what it's like. And that's why your network is so important, right? So we talked about the importance of stewardship and really leveraging what you already have, making the absolute most of what you have, right? You ever have a product that's so good that you get all the way to the bottom of it and you're like scraping scraping the barrel because it's so good? That's what stewardship is like. Stewardship is like, listen, I'm using everything I got to get to my next level. I'm using it all. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel. I'm using my network. I'm going to be a good steward of everything I got. I'm using my network. I'm using my computer. I'm using my phone. I'm using everything that I've got to get to the next level. I'm using my knowledge. I'm using technology, the stuff that I have at my fingertips. You guys, we are so spoiled. Listen, the entrepreneurs that came before us, a lot of them did not have the internet. A lot of them did not have computers, right? They had to do the door-to-door stuff like the Kirby vacuum, the Kirby vacuum man. When I was a kid, the Kirby vacuum man used to come to our door to sell Kirby vacuums. He would knock on the door, and that's how he sold things. You know who else came to our door? The Avon lady, the Mary Kay lady. I was a Mary Kay lady. I still love Mary Kay. I love me some Mary Kay products. But you guys, this day and age, we've got the internet. We've got all this stuff at our fingertips. How are you stewarding what you have? Okay. The other thing is your network. Your network. Oh my goodness. Your network really does impact your net worth. Your network impacts your net worth. Okay. Let me give you an example. I have a friend who also teaches about branding. We have different styles, and she's amazing. I think we're both amazing at what we do. We just have different styles of teaching about branding. And a lot of our ideas are very the same or very similar, but we just have we're different people. We have different styles of delivery. And somebody came to me and they were like, "Hey, Shanta, can you help me with this?" And I said to her, "I'm like, I could, but I know somebody who can do it better. I'm gonna refer you to her." And I did. I referred her to my friend, and they closed the sale. Okay, that's an example of how your network can determine your net worth, right? Who you're connected to matters. But not only that, when you talk to people in your network and they're giving you tips and they're giving you strategies, they're giving you next level ideas. Let me tell you, that right there is priceless. It is priceless. Because if you're the smartest person in your circle, that's how you know you need to start really shipping your network, because that's another thing that's going to help you to step into your next level. Your network when you're around people who are further along than you are, guess what they do? It's like a magnet. They pull you up. You cannot be the smartest person in your circle pulling everyone up and there's no one pulling you up. Okay? That's a part of what it looks like to step into that next level. So you got to be able to figure out, okay, what does my next level look like for me? Right? I'm talking about the principles of it, but you got to determine what that looks like for you. Like I talked about stewardship. Stewardship for me may look different than stewardship for you. For you, stewardship could look like, you know what? I really should dive into these courses that I already paid for. Stewardship for somebody else may look like, you know what? I really need to start connecting with my network better. But then you may need to do a combination of all of those things, right? So you have to determine what does stepping into your next level look like. Helen gave us an example. And Helen, thank you so much for your transparency. Helen says right here, I'm not putting myself out there consistently, right? That's something that we listen, we've all been there and done that. And let me just give y'all a quick commercial break on this, right? I see people do this all the time, and I don't see anything wrong with it. It's not wrong. But people will be absent for a while, And then they'll come back and say, hey guys, I'm sorry, I've been gone for a little while. I feel like, why apologize? Just jump back into action, right? Just pop back up like, hey y'all. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with addressing being gone, but I don't think it's anything to apologize for, right? I don't think it's anything to apologize for. But if you've been gone, there's nothing wrong with addressing why you've been gone to your audience. Just like, for example, when I started this video, I said, hey guys, I said, I've been absent for a little while. My mom passed away. Some of you already know my mom passed away a few weeks ago. And I've been absent for a while, but I was not apologetic, right? Because, that I don't feel like that's something that I need to apologize for. And the reason why I say that, you guys, now I'm not saying, now for those of you who know me, you know my spirit, I'm a very kind person. But the reason why I say it's nothing to be apologetic for is because if there's an apology, to me, that means there's some shame associated with you being absent, or you feel like, there it was wrong for you to take a break, right? And I feel like when you are growing a business, you have to, if you need time off, if you need time away, take your time off and take your time away unapologetically. One of my clients would say that. She would say, do it unapologetically, right? And so I feel like when you feel like you have to apologize, it takes you even longer to get back in action. Listen, if you've been gone for 4 months, don't pop up like, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Just say, hey, look, this is what I've been doing. I took a break. This is what I've been doing, but I'm excited. I'm excited to be back, right? That's going to get you back into action and feeling shameful about it, right? Now, I'm not saying you don't have to address it, but I'm saying you don't have to be apologetic about it, right? Just dive back in and get back to work. Because feeling bad about it or feeling guilty about it, that just prolongs the process, right? Just hit that live button and go live. Just start back engaging, get back to work, okay? So the thing is, stewardship, working on expanding your network. Can I just tell y'all, like, this is something that my clients already understand. That relationships, when you build relationships, that changes the game for the sales that you're closing, right? Because even if you have relationships with people who aren't clients, they're more likely to bring you some clients. As a matter of fact, you guys, I have 3 people that I need to follow up with because I have a relationship with someone that I reconnected with after a long time, and I'm talking like, y'all, it could be like, I'm thinking like more than 10 years, right? I connected with this person and we were at the same conference years ago, maybe 10 years ago or even more than that. And I reconnected with her and I started talking to her about this conference that we were at. And I'm like, were you at this conference? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I recognize your name. You guys, she just texted me 3 people who want to start their businesses online. And she's like, she texted me their names and their phone numbers. So guess what I got to do? I got to go follow up with these leads, right? Your network determines your net worth in many different ways. So because I reconnected to this person, and she's like, well, what do you do now? And I started talking to her about what I do, and now she's sending me leads on a regular basis. That's because of a relationship, right? It's the same way with getting new clients, right? If you are connecting with new people on a regular basis and focusing on building a relationship, it changes the game for the sales that you close. Years ago, I used to say this, and I've started saying it again. Connect before you collect, right? What happens is a lot of people, they start trying to make the sale before they even connect with the person, right? That's what I mean by connect with the person before you try to collect a payment, right? Everybody just wants to sell, sell, sell. But wait a minute. How about you get to know this person and get connected to them and like really find out if you can help them or not? I don't want to work with people who I'm not called to work with. So if I really can't help the person, I'm like, oh, this is not my person. Just like the person that came and she's like, well, can you help me with this? And I'm like, oh, I could, but I know somebody who can do it better. Right? Now, for that specific thing, that's not my jam, right? The other stuff she needs, I'm her girl, right? But for that specific thing, I'm like, I got somebody. I know somebody who can help you with this. Okay. And so when you have a network and when you build your network, you're going to have different types of people in your network. Okay. So First of all, you're going to have potential clients. You're going to connect with people who may become clients. You're also going to connect with people who may send you referrals and send you leads, right? And then you may connect with people who you collaborate with. So you're going to have potential clients. You're going to have potential connectors, people who connect you with other people. And then you're also going to have potential collaborators. Okay. So when you're building your network and you've got these different type of people in your network, that's what's going to put you in a position to make 6 and 7 figures. That listen, I'm telling y'all, relationships and connections. Connection, I say this, look, I say this about every week. Connection, that's the new currency right there. Connection is the new currency. Because now, during this time, you guys, people are more careful about what they're investing in because a lot is happening in the economy. And when people invest, they want to make sure they're making a good investment. So now they're very careful about what they're buying because they like, I need this to work. If you listen, if you just lost your job and you have your last $10,000, let's say you got $10,000 saved, you just lost your job, and you're like, the only option I have right now is to really build a business, right? And if you go looking for a business teacher, a business coach to help you, you're going to do a little more due diligence, right? Because you're going to be like, listen, this is all I have. I need to make this work. This has to work. So I want to make sure I'm investing with the right person. That's why I'm saying connections, that's the new currency because people are more likely to buy from somebody who they know and trust. If your people don't know you, they're less likely to want to invest with you. And this is why I teach my clients to create content on a regular basis and so they can build trust. Okay. If you need help with content creation, just let me know. I have a product that I sell. It's called Content to Authority System. It's just $17. And that's one of my low ticket offers. It's just $17. And I'll walk you through how to create authority building content. Okay. If you need help with creating content, let me know. This system that it will walk you through how to create and plan your next 90 days worth of content. And so within that 90 days, you have the ability to come up with your topics and then you can pivot those topics as you need to. So let's say you create your first 3 weeks and you're like, oh, people are really responding well to the topic that I did in week 2. How can I talk more about that stuff, right? You can pivot and you can ride on that week 2 topic and then get even more action and more engagement. But there's room baked in for you to be able to shift and move as you need to. But I walk you through what I do with my clients effortlessly. One of the things that I'm really gifted in is coming up with content ideas, content headlines, and also I create offers very well. I did not realize that was a gift until I realized that wait, people are so talented. They just need to know how to package it up. And I'm like, that's where I come in, right? I'm good at helping you take what you're great at and packaging it up into a program or offer that you can actually sell, right? So a lot of times it's not that, people aren't talented. They are. They just need to know how to package it up and sell it, right? And then that's where I come in. When I design offers, I design customized offers for my clients. I design offers based on your personality and what it is that you want to do. Okay, what it is you want to do and how you want to do it and what's your personality like. Okay. So all of the offers that I design for my clients are customized to them, what they want to do in their ideal client. And when you design an offer like that, it's more exciting because you love it, right? Have you ever had an offer that you're like, oh my goodness, I love this. This is my jam, right? So when we talk about getting to the next level, you guys, it's not about stepping down and saying, you know what, this I'm just not called to this. Unless you really did find out that you're not called to this, right? We talked about that in the beginning. Some people get into something and they're like, oh, this is not my thing, right? That's different from getting into it and realizing, oh my gosh, like this right here, this is tough. But you know what? I'm wired for it, right? God called you for a reason. And everything you need to succeed in entrepreneurship is in you, right? You just gotta work through the difficulties of it, y'all. I have 3 different businesses. They're all hard. You know how some people say, "Oh, just do this and, you can make $300,000." Or, "Look, I made $300,000 in 6 months." But they don't tell you that they've been trying this thing for 6 years, right? And they finally everything finally clicked, and then they made $300,000 in 6 months. Yeah, that may be true. They may have made $300,000 in 6 months, but they don't talk about how many times they made a mistake over the last 6 years before that happened, right? Every business is hard, right? I don't care what kind of business you do. If it's multi-level marketing, if you're online selling your knowledge and you're doing programs and courses and ebooks and things like that, or if you have a brick and mortar business, listen, any kind of business takes work. No matter how people try to make it how easy it seems, every single business takes work. All of them. Any business you start is going to be tough. And when you accept that and understand that, then you can knuckle down and do what you got to do to get to your next level. Okay. So most of the time, we know what we have to do. We just don't want to discipline ourselves to be able to make it happen. Right. And that's the third point. So we talked about stewardship. We talked about your network and your relationships, connecting with people, staying connected with people. Right, and not in a place where you are you don't have to, like, chase people down or anything like that, right? Because I felt like that too. Like, I don't like to feel like I'm chasing, people, but I do like to build relationships with people, if that makes sense. There's a difference between chasing somebody down and like really building a relationship. And I felt like I have felt like that before. Like, I feel like I'm like I'm chasing people, right? But when I stopped thinking of it like that and started thinking of, wait, I'm working on building relationships and building connections. There's a big difference between those things, right? Building relationships with people and staying connected with them, because guess what, y'all? Like, some people, and this is something that my clients understand as well. A no may not mean be a no forever. It might just not be a good time for that person, right? But 3 weeks from now, that can all change. Okay. But if you don't stay in contact with them and stay in the forefront of their minds, you may lose that person as a client, right? You've got potential clients, people who want to work with you, and you have to stay in the forefront of their minds. So when they think about when they get ready to do the thing that you help to do, they're thinking about you, right? So business is tough, you guys. There's no sugarcoating it. I've never tried to sugarcoat it. I tell my clients all the time, it is hard. It really is. But you got to live a disciplined life, right? This is something that takes daily work. When I was in the Navy and when I went to boot camp, you know how some people say, "Oh, you can just do it gradually over time." I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to working out things gradually over time, because this just sometimes we just have to do it that way. Maybe you start out and say, "You know what? Before I start selling, I'm just going to focus on creating consistent content. Maybe I'll just take the next 3 months and I'm just going to work on just putting out amazing content, right?" And then maybe the 3 months after that, maybe you're like, "You know what? Now I'm going to work on trying to, level up my sales game," right? So I'm not opposed to like taking the time to like build things out, right? That's why my program is 12 months long, because I have so much stuff to share and to teach. It takes time to implement these things. When I was in boot camp, I did not get that opportunity to like, build and change my habits. Listen, I was thrown into it. I showed up at boot camp, and as soon as I got off the bus, there were people yelling and screaming in my face. And my first thought was, what in the world have I done? And then I was like, you know what? I probably need to call my mama and be like, "Mama, come get me, because this is not what I signed up for, right? This is not what I signed up for." And so the thing is, I showed up at boot camp, and I think we were up for like 48 hours in a row because we had to get processed and all of that stuff. And then after that, you guys, I went from, waking up whenever I felt like it to waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, going to bed. Listen, in boot camp, we have bedtime, right? We call it taps. Taps is at 9:55 p.m. That's 5 minutes before 10. So taps means, okay, it's time to get ready for bed. I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna be sleepy at that time. Listen, every single day of boot camp at 9:55, I was so tired. I remember sitting waiting for the clock because we were not allowed to get in bed before taps, right? So if it was getting close to bedtime, you just had to wait and work on something else until it was bedtime. And so I remember looking at the clock, waiting for taps. I'm like, I'm so tired. I'm just ready to get into bed, right? But those are things that I was kind of thrown into. So I went from waking up when I wanted to, not having any type of fitness, even though I ran track. But by the time I went to boot camp, I was in summer. I had finished the whole summer after my senior year. Y'all, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, working out three or four times a week, going to classes, eating 3 meals a day, marching everywhere we went instead of just walking like a normal person. We had to march everywhere we went. We had to march, right? Then we had to practice marching for hours a day. And there were just so many things, you guys, that I didn't get the time to say, okay, well, first I'm gonna start waking up at 6 o'clock. Then I'm gonna start doing this, right? We were tossed into it, and it's like, all right, now on, this is what your schedule looking like. You're getting up at 6, you're working out. When you get done working out, you're taking a shower. When you finish your shower, we're going to go get breakfast. And then after breakfast, you're going to class. And then after class, we're gonna practice marching for 2 hours. And then after that, it was a lot, you guys. So I said all that to say that you have to figure out what is your style of pushing into your next level. Do you need to put yourself in a boot camp type of situation? Sometimes you have to do that to yourself, right? You know yourself. I know myself. I know what it takes for me to push. What does it take for you to push? Do you have to put yourself in a boot camp type situation where you're like, you know what, starting tomorrow, I'm doing this, right? And I'm gonna do my best to maintain a schedule. Or do you have to do it gradually where you're like, okay, I'm gonna start with this and then I'm gonna start with that. All of us have different styles. For me, I perform very well under pressure. That's something that the Navy taught me. I perform well under pressure. So for me, I put pressure on myself and I'm like, I always rise to the occasion. If I got pressure, I'm getting it done, right? So for me, pressure looks like having an accountability person that I check in with. Because for me, I don't like telling my accountability partner that I didn't do something. So the pressure of having to tell them that I didn't do it, that's enough for me. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm getting this done. I said I was going to do it. I don't want to have to meet with them and tell them that I didn't do it. So I'm getting it done. Right. So that's some of the things that I put in place for myself to help me stay constantly growing and pushing into a next level. I love a good challenge, you guys. And that's what entrepreneurship is about. It's about the challenge. It's about pushing yourself and stepping out of your comfort zone. You guys, for the last 2 months, I've been very, very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. I have another business that I started and it took off super fast, you guys. And I was just like, this is a good problem to have, but it's also very stressful. And so for a couple of months, I was super uncomfortable. And I said to myself, at first I wanted to throw the business away. I'm like, this is just too much. And then I thought to myself, I said, okay, well, actually, I have two options. I can throw the business away or I can start building a team. So I started focusing on building a team, y'all. And the reason why I'm able to really step into my next level now is because I'm working on building a team, and that is a major breakthrough for such a new business. Okay. I've got one team member with that business, and my second one is starting later on this week, tomorrow. And so I'm just like, wow, like I had no idea, right? So that pressure, right? It was the pressure. It was like, oh my gosh, like I got to do something. I got to do it fast. What is it going to take for you? What measures do you need to put in place for yourself to push into your next level? And what does your next level look like for you? Okay. If it's you getting an accountability partner, you got to do what you got to do, right? When you're called to excellence, those of us who are called to excellence, we do things a little bit different. And sometimes the stuff that we do comes off as weird to other people. Okay. Some things that I do may come off as weird for other people. So, for example, um, if I know that I want, like, for example, when my husband and I, when we bought our home, our second home, we bought brand new, right? I'm the kind of person, if I know I want to buy a brand new house, or if I know I want to buy another house, I'll go say, you know what? I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna buy something for my new house, right? Even though I don't have it yet, I'm gonna go buy something for my new house. I'll go to the store and buy something for my new house, right? And I start like getting in action and start doing the things and doing things to inspire and stir up my own faith, right? That's one thing that I do to press into my next level. It's like, okay, you know what? Let me just start putting myself where I see myself. Okay. When you're pushing into your next level, that's what you got to do. You got to put yourself where you see yourself and put the things in place that you know are going to work for you. If you need to get an accountability partner, if you need boot camp style, where you're like, you know what? I'll wake up at 7, but now I think I need to wake up at 6 o'clock so I can do the stuff that I need to do. Does your next level for you look like talking to more people, communicating with more people, posting quality content, right? I'm not going to necessarily, but for some it is more content, but sometimes it could be more quality content because you want to attract a certain level of people. Y'all, listen to this, okay? The kind of content you put out is drawing in a certain kind of person. Okay. So when you're sharing content, you want to speak to the person that you want to draw. So my son is he likes fancy food, right? If I ask him, well, what do you want for dinner? Now my daughter may say something like, can we have pasta? Or she likes pasta. Sometimes she asks for tacos. Um, but my son, when I ask him what he wants for dinner, he'll say lobster tail or crab legs, shrimp. Y'all, this boy had me out one day buying him some clams. I did like a little like crab boil. So he got me out here buying crabs, shrimp, um, uh, clams, and so for him, right? He has a different style, right? So if I'm saying, okay, look, I'm serving tacos, right? I'm going to attract people like my daughter who want tacos, right? But if I'm saying, hey, I've got shrimp over here, I'm going to draw in people like my son. He's a little bit fancy. I just told my husband the other day, I said, this boy is going to need a lot of money, right? I'm like, he's so fancy. I'm like, he's going to need a lot of money. I was like, I'm going to have to show him how to make money because he likes expensive things. Think about your content like that, right? If you attracting a person who eats tacos, then that's your ideal client, right? If you attracting people who eat shrimp, then that's a totally different kind of client. But I want you to think of your content in that terms. What you're putting out is going to draw a certain kind of people in, you guys. I know from experience that sometimes you're drawing people who aren't able to afford your services. And when you draw people who are not able to afford your services, then you get frustrated because every time you make an offer, they can't afford it. And it's nothing wrong. Listen, there's somebody out there for them. It's just not you. Right? You got to focus on drawing in people who can actually afford to pay you. And one way that you do that is by creating content. Okay? Creating content that's going to draw in your audience so that you can strengthen your network and increase your net worth. Okay. So today we talked about stepping into your next level. We talked about stewardship. We talked about your network and how that goes into determining your net worth. Okay. And then we talked about discipline and how discipline can help you to get to your next level. And what is your style of building habits, of becoming a disciplined person? Do you need to do things gradually, or do you need boot camp style where you just go all in and make immediate changes and then start holding yourself accountable to those changes? Okay. And then think about, what does your next level look like and what do you need to put in place for you to get to that next level? Okay. Now, before my mom passed away, I did talk about an offer that I am putting together for people who want to focus on their messaging, and I have decided to make that invitation only. However, if you are interested in doing a mentorship with me, and I'm taking a few weeks, and I'm taking a handful of ladies, and we're just going to work on your messaging for weeks, right? So some of you know that messaging is one of my strengths. I have a way with words, and I want to teach you how to sell in the DMs. That's the first thing, right? Because messaging, it takes knowing what to say, how to say it, and when to say it, to close sales in the DMs. So I'm gonna teach you how to sell in the DMs. I'm gonna teach you how to make a post when you're talking about your program and when you're inviting people to get on a call with you to do consultations. We're going to talk about messaging with your emails. We're going to talk about messaging around your brand. So when you're talking about your brand, we're just going to spend a whole month and a half focusing in on your message. Okay. And so I just wanted to address that because I did talk about that before I went away to take care of my mom's funeral arrangements and things like that, and it's attending her funeral. And by the way, for those of you who have been checking in, thank you so much for checking on me and seeing how things are going. I'm doing fantastic, and my mother's funeral service was beautiful. So I'll probably be sending out a little bit, just a thank you on that. But her funeral service was beautiful, you guys. I actually did her eulogy, and at first, some people were a little shocked, like, "You're doing a eulogy?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm doing a eulogy," right? So it turned out to be a really awesome time. But I did want to come back and just address that before I went away. But the it's when I say invitation only, what I basically mean is this is not something that I'm going to be posting publicly about. I'll be reaching out to people, and also it'll be like it'll be private. I'll be marketing it privately. It won't be something that I'm marketing openly. And so that's what I mean by invitation only. So if you're interested in doing a mentorship where we just we'll be focusing on your brand messaging so that you know what to post, you know how to write powerful captions, you know how to close a sale in the direct messages, you know how to talk about yourself, your brand, and your program. We're going to spend a lot of time diving in on that. So I do know a couple of people reached out to me weeks ago, and then my mom passed, and so I'll be reaching out to you to reconnect with you because all of the things that happened in between. So I will be reaching out to reconnect with you about that program. But if that's something you're interested in, you have a couple of options today. If you need help with content, just shoot me a quick message. You can message me on Facebook. If you're watching me from YouTube, just send me an email at info@shantraprince.com, or you can come over to Facebook and send me a message. I do have a $17 product that could help you plan out your next 90 days of authority building content. So if you want that, just shoot me a message. Also, if you're interested in my message mastering mentorship, let me know because I'm only taking a handful of ladies that I want to work closely with for the next several weeks on really helping you to focus in on your message. Thank you, Natasha. I really want to focus in because the reason why I came up with this, you guys, is because y'all, it breaks my heart when I see awesome people trying to sell something and it's falling flat because the messaging is just not right, right? And it's not that you're wrong or your offer is bad. It's just the messaging around it is not connecting with your ideal clients. And because it's not connecting, no one is clicking, no one is buying. And another thing is most people don't know how to sell their program. They have amazing programs, but they don't really know how to sell it, right? When it comes to your messaging, they struggle with the sales part of things. So that right there, I'm like, you know what? I just need to take a handful of ladies and just really focus in on just messaging. And I'm talking about messaging around any and everything. By the time we finish this training, you're going to be amazing at articulating your program, knowing what to say to people in the direct messages, being clear on what your program does. Some people aren't even clear on what their program does, right? They don't know, they haven't focused in or had the time to really narrow down what their program does. And guess what? If you don't know what your program does, that's going to come out when you talk about it because people won't even know what your program does if you don't know what your program does, right? So we focus on all of those things around your message. You're going to have so much clarity and you're really going to be able, that's going to help you to step into your next level, right? So let me know if you're interested in one of those opportunities. Those opportunities will not be shared publicly. And like I said, I'm talking about it here because I mentioned it before before I went away to take care of my mom's funeral. So let me know if you're interested in those things. Other than that, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Y'all know I get on here and sometimes I go for an hour or longer, but y'all show up, y'all hang out with me. I thank you so much for that. And I will see you guys next Thursday at 12 o'clock, same time, y'all, same place. And I hope you have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. And I'll see y'all right back here next week. Have a great one, and I'll see you again soon.